Good evening. 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 So Lakshana, you can use the PPTs, but have to go through the NCRTs. That is enough. That is enough. PPT and NCRT is minimum. Good evening. Good evening to all of you. Good evening. Yes, we are back with new colors, starting our new journey today, which is ancient medieval art and culture. So I'll wait for 2-3 minutes and then we can start. I'll Shweta talk about that, don't worry. What is for ancient, what is for medieval, don't worry about that. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Is it same weightage, this and that? I will discuss everything. Be patient, don't worry. Everything will be told to you, don't worry about that. Good evening, good evening. I give it 1 more minute and then we start. Devansh, I will tell you why last, why forward, why backward. We will discuss everything. I don't know anything about ancient medieval art and culture. Nothing better. The blank slate is better than having some idea. How to approach, that is why we are here. That Yashi, you can go for that. Eco is a difficult optional. Hemant will do that. Geography is option is also good. Poonam Dalal Daya, R.S. Sharma, Tamil Nadu, please suggest. Sachin, good question. I'll answer that later. First, have to wait for everybody to come in. Don't worry about that. Every question will be answered. Have to be patient. I have no idea, Santosh, who we've done some offline with. I am all here online only. PPT with NCRT enough for modern, yes. This class, how many days will be answered? Will you teach art and culture, ancient medieval? That is why I'm here. Okay. So you haven't missed anything, but stop being fashionably late to the class. And after a point, I start to presume that you were here since the beginning itself. Don't worry about that, Tarun. Just pay attention here. A little bit of effort will be needed, but you have to put in that sense. Okay. If everybody has to settle down here first, don't have to worry. I will tell you what is ancient medieval architecture, how we go about it, what is the basic idea. So when we talk about history, firstly, tell me who has not seen me till this point. This is your first class with me. Never, you don't know who I am, have not done any class with me. Anybody like that? First class, I am Charan. I saw you yesterday. Ashay again, I saw you yesterday. First, there are some. Kali, you're asking me a question, and now you're saying this is your first class. First class, yes. Arushi, first class, first, first world history with you. That doesn't mean first class. Question is very simple. Is it your first class or not? Ironically, some of you have been asking questions, but you're writing first. No issues. Okay. No, yes, no, no. Okay. There's a very substantial number. First, no, not first class of history. First class with me. If you don't know my name, you don't know who I am. That is why I'm asking you from. In that context, I will start in a different way in that sense. Okay, first class. Okay, first. Okay. Attended webinars, news analysis. Okay. Is it necessary to complete world history before this? No. Karuka. Wait. Okay. Now I get the idea. Close to half of you don't know me. Okay. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me, half of you actually don't know me. So, if you are attending history for the first time, firstly, welcome. Second, we start ancient medieval art and culture today. 3 segments. Before we start, my name is Abhishek Mishra, and you may have seen me in CNA or in webinar or in Modern India if you've done those batches. Some of you are from those batches only, and some of you haven't done that, or you've done it with someone else. So in that context, ancient medieval art and culture world history is always managed by me only, and we start a 24 class journey today. Now, what gives me the right or authority to teach you this, which is quite a technical but a very interesting, easy area, is that I've been doing this for the past decade or so, 12 years, and BA honors in history from Sri Venkateshwara College, masters from St. Stephen's, again in history, and I've done my MPhil also in history from Delhi University, all throughout Delhi University, Department of History, and now I'm doing my PhD in history. And throughout my academics, BA, MA, MPhil, I'm the university topper of Delhi University for my batch in history. First thing. Second thing, before joining here, 3 years back, six and a half years, I've taught and was one of the youngest assistant professors in Delhi University itself. So academic history, I've taught for 6 years in different colleges. Last college was Hindu, before that LSR, College of Vocational Studies. I've got Kamla Nehru, Khalsa, multiple colleges in Delhi University. Then I've joined here and I've been teaching ancient medieval art and culture, modern India, all parts of history. 6 parts are there. Somewhere or the other, I've taught something for sure. Now, throughout that period, I used to mentor a lot of students also for UPSC. So when it came to teaching you, uh, history here, it was a better opportunity. It was a more fulfilling opportunity. Recently, I've also published a book because of a major gap in the UPSC market. It is with Pearson, and give you the name of the book. That book is not provided to you or will not be provided to you. It's totally your call to buy it or not buy it. The problem in history generally is that there is no one book. For ancient, you have Punalaya, then it's a very bad book. It's a very, very bad written book, multiple mistakes. Then she has 2 books, one for ancient medieval, one for modern. Then Spectrum is only for modern. Thereafter, there is R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra for ancient and medieval. And thereafter, there are close to 6 to 7 different books if you have to refer to. So for ancient, medieval, and modern in one place, recently for a much bigger examination than UPSC when it comes to history, which is called UGC NET, UGC National Eligibility Test, which is an assistant professor examination. For that, I wrote a book with my wife, and wherein ancient, medieval, and modern are together. So the advantage there is that you don't have to run to 3 different books. One book has all 3. And it has been written in such a way that it does not waste your time, and you can supplement it anything if you're doing anything with me generally. So I'll give you the name of the book. It is called UGC NET History Paper 2, and it will say Abhishek Mishra. It's available on Amazon. or it will say Shubhangini Priya. Dual authorship, and you will find it on Amazon. If some of you can just find it, one of you have already sent me the Amazon link. I'm making it public, so you can just copy that and you will get it. So three of you have just sent that to me. This is something as your commitment, and you can buy it if you find it useful, if you find it anything. This is, I be the author, obviously will say buy it, but I leave it to your judgment. Look at the reviews, generally see it. There was one thing where I felt that there was a need for a book. I'm working on an art and culture book for you to basically, it's paper two because there are two papers in net. Don't go with that paper two. I'm trying to work on UGC net, means University Grants Commission net, national eligibility test. You don't have to give it, it's an assistant professor. It's a much more difficult and bigger examination. UPSC can automatically come into it. The previous year and the practice questions are not for you. It's only the content which is quite relevant for you generally. Second thing is art and culture book is coming. Some of you have already purchased it and you're finding it useful. Very beautiful. Perfect. But the basic point is that art and culture book is coming. Till that point, necessary evil, Nitin Singhania will talk about that. Now, if we are all clear about who I am, can I now start the course itself? Yes? Perfect. Great. Now, if you already have been in my class, there are three basic rules. There are three basic rules which are there, which is first, I expect you to engage with me in class. From time to time, I'll ask you to say yes, raise your hand. Better is you write yes. I'll ask you to move forward or not. The students who have already been with me would know that until unless I have everybody's consent, except for people who have come late or are too distracted, I am ready to repeat also. And I'm always ready to move forward as much as everybody's coming together. First thing. Second thing is, I'm not expecting you to write running notes. I would rather want you to concentrate here, which is don't make it into a radio from a video. And third is that there's no right and wrong question. Ask me anything. If I find it relevant for the discussion we're having right now, I'll take it as we are going on or later if needed. So I remember who has asked me what. So don't worry about that. We'll move forward in that direction. So first things, you know who I am. Second thing, what are the rules? Acceptable to everybody? Should ask questions, should say yes when I ask you to. And third is, don't make running notes. Concentrate on what I'm teaching. Yes, sir? Great, sir. Okay. Shruti, can, but preferably in English. Okay. Now let's come to this conundrum called history. Ancient, medieval, if not notes, how to can I revise? What I'm writing on the screen will be notes for you only. Some of you have a very bad habit, college level, to keep your head down and listen to me. Don't do that. I will write a lot of things on the screen. You just think I will write it in a way that it is notes only. So don't worry about that. You read Spectrum, you want to shift, totally your call. Spectrum only solves one problem, not three. Okay. DAF session, Umera, I've already taken. Umera, go and check the YouTube. There's a DAF2 form filling session which I've just taken recently, 2 days back. Santosh, is this class different from offline? Santosh, I think it is different because digital medium, I'm different. I am not taught in offline. So obviously it would be different only. Okay. Your book also includes modern. Yes. Ancient, medieval, modern, all three together. If my voice is not coming, refresh. Ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence. You have world history and art and culture. Now you see, Yamya, you don't reply to my queries. Don't do the message. Yamya, I'm seeing your message for the first time. I don't know who are you writing to or where are you writing. Write it here. I'll look at it. So don't worry. You won't, Bhagya, you won't need it. Okay. Now, today we start ancient, medieval, and art and culture. And the fact is, this whole set has a interesting peculiarity. History is not one, but 6 subjects. These two are prelims oriented, with an exception of this year in 2023, where in GS paper 1 there were questions in which a little bit of ancient medieval was there. And the fact is, if you've gone through my classes, you are capable of writing any answer which or any question which came in the examination. When we talk about modern and art and culture, they are mains and prelims, and post independence and world history. These are only mains only, meaning they will only come in GS paper 1. Now, these two and this is what we start. And prelims and mains orientation means that in ancient medieval, you need to have conceptual and factual knowledge. But in art and culture, you need to have conceptual and descriptive plus factual knowledge, which means that you should be able to write questions. You should be able to write answers to questions, and therefore descriptive understanding is important. Now, if you look at how I teach, is that we have 7 modules of ancient, 7 modules of medieval, 10 modules of art and culture. Ancient, medieval, and art and culture. Now, if you will watch any so-called expert, any random topper, any YouTube video you've seen, they will say a very dangerous line, and that line is going to be 0 to 5, no, not 0, but 3 to 5 to 10 questions come from this area. Leave it. Do art and culture, because you can't clear this examination without doing art and culture. Standard advice and ill advice rather, which is given by a lot of people who call themselves expert, is going to be ancient medieval chhod do, there's no point. 3 to 5 questions, maximum 6-7 questions can come, and do art and culture, because art and culture 5 to 10 questions will come, and mains question 3 to 4. Now the problem with these people is that they're asking you to basically commit suicide. Why? Because they have zero knowledge of history, and what they are not understanding is that art and culture is not in the air. Hawa mein nahi hai. It's not in the air. Art and culture is of ancient and medieval only. So the reason why you pick up Nitin Singhania and you keep it back how you actually took it is because you don't understand Nitin Singhania. When Nitin Singhania says Pallava, it says Chalukya, Hoysaleshwara, it says Narsimhanvarman, Narsimhanvarman II, Pulkeshin. It says these big words. And when it says these big words, you tend to think, what is this new type of bird which they are talking about? Because what has happened is you are basically doing it the other way around. You're doing it the reverse way. Without knowing ancient and medieval, you are studying art and culture, not knowing that art and culture is the integral part of ancient medieval only. And that is why when I will ask you to write an answer in art and culture, basically nobody understands anything how to write an introduction only. They're like, sir, I can't write an introduction, because art and culture introduction is the historical context. When you don't know where Maurya, post-Maurya, Indo-Greek, Kushana come in, then how will you write an answer? So the fact why art and culture is difficult is because you don't know ancient medieval. And the reason why you don't know ancient and medieval is because some random person told you it's not worth it. But ironically, out of this area, 5 to 10 questions, at least 20 marks in the examination is going to come. And out of this, and now this time ancient medieval also, at least 3 to 5 GS paper 1 questions are coming. So one thing is very, very clear, that nobody has cleared this examination without attempting ancient medieval art and culture questions in prelims. And nobody has for sure cleared this examination without doing the 3 to 5 questions of out of that in art and culture. So please be very, very clear. If there's any prohibition, or you have this some mantra which has been taught to you, or if somebody is actually asking you to do it, tell them to shut up, because it is not going to work. So the first thing first, you can't do art and culture without ancient medieval. And ancient medieval is not difficult if it is done in a systematic way. That is the fear which you bring in class, which I can feel from the chat box itself. Ancient, medieval, what is priestry? There's a certain type of uncomfortable fear which is there in class, and there's nothing to fear here. Once you come out of these 24 classes by January with me, this should be your strong point rather than your weak point. And some students chase the paper, which is that they will judge the paper from the hardest question which came rather than the 75 to 80% of the paper which was standard. So the reason we start with ancient medieval, these 14 classes I will do with you, is because when I teach you the next 10, it is easy for me and easy for you to understand. It is easy for both of us. Because today, if I start first theme, Indus Valley Civilization architecture, you don't know where is Indus Valley Civilization. As of right now, you don't even know what is this BCE, CE. Have no idea only. What is this BC, AD? What is this? So please be very, very clear that, and I emphasize this enough, don't think that you come today and then you don't come for 14 classes and then you come in art and culture and then you ask me, sir, I'm not able to follow, then it is your fault, not mine. First thing. Now comes the $1,000,000 question, which a lot of you are sitting on right now. Book, 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 book. What to do with book? Now, when it comes to books, the problem we have is that in prelims, UPSC has not defined anything. They've written history of India and Indian national movement, which is 1885 thereafter. Now, within this history of India only, ancient medieval art and culture come. Now, there are two necessities and one optional, in the sense that I would expect that the PPTs I'm giving you, total 24, will be the base on which you will understand and learn. Everything in the PPT, further, I will also tell you what to learn, what not to learn, will be the base. Thereafter, NCERTs, which is 6th class, 7th class, 12th class part 1 and 12th class part 2. This is ancient, this is medieval, this is ancient again, and this is medieval. This is a bare minimum you have to do. But from NCERTs, you will not learn, you will read. There's a difference between learning. Can we make 3 parts of notebook? Sure, why not? The learning process is different and reading process is different. Reading means how you read a storybook. Just go through it. Learning is when you try to actively learn it, that the PPT is there. Thereafter, the third option is totally your call. You can modern is a separate issue altogether. PPT plus 8th class and 12th class part 3, and then third book is Spectrum if you want to use, or my book. Now the third book is totally your call. You can either use R.S. Sharma for ancient. You can use Bipin, no, not Bipin, but Satish Chandra for medieval. And you have to use Nitin Singhania for art and culture. That I will tell you what is the art and culture scene. Or you can supplement this area with my book. One book for both, which would include modern also. Now the fact of the matter is this much is bare minimum. This much is bare minimum. This is when you have mastered this much. So when it comes to the books, 6th, 7th, and 12th part 1, part 2. These are the books. I've given you the pictures of all them. Also them. This is ancient, which is called India's Ancient Part, R.S. Sharma. Totally your call if you want to use it. Problem is very heavy book, quite irrelevant also. But for you, I've done one thing. Because there are multiple books. I've done one thing, which is that every module has a key like this. You can do that, Pavitra. Every module has a key like this. Wherein what chapters from R.S. Sharma, what chapters from the NCERT you can read if you want to read. Because not every chapter in R.S. Sharma is important. Not every chapter in NCERT is important. Not every chapter in these 12th class NCERT is important. So I have tried to make it as easy as possible, wherein you know PPT plus NCERT, and I've also given you module coverage from which book, which area. This is called literal spoon feeding, but I believe that because there is a lot of confusion, this is something which will work for you. If you want to skip it, that is totally your call. The PPT is not just the amalgamation of these books. It includes academic and even optional level books such as Upinder Singh. So you don't have to worry about that. And if you want to buy my book, that is totally your call. It is between you and me. The institution is not involved. Totally it is something which was not even available 4 months back. It was a necessity. It has been developed for you. It is a basic gap filling book which removes this issue of 6 different books for history. So what is the best preparation? Best preparation would be going the 3-way or the 2-way. But my basic idea to you is going to be, right now, keep the books aside. Right now, keep the book aside. If you are here with me, concentrate. Once you've done the whole thing with me, the books will also start to make sense to you. So can I expect, I've given you the syllabus, I've given you the idea, I've given you the book. Now you know what to do with the books also. R.S. Sharma 7, 8, 9 are sufficient. Obviously, they are sufficient. That is why I've written it. See, I am not, if you want to hear from my mouth coming out, don't read NCERT, don't read any book. PPT is enough. That I will not say. So some of you are basically asking me questions in a wrong, in this way. That's our, bol do ki NCERT is enough. That PPT is enough. No, I won't say that. A diligent, disciplined candidate will at least do bare minimum, which is PPT plus NCERT. A student who has multiple years, for example, 2024, 25, 26, 2030, 50, 60, will try to do the third book also. It is about where you are and at what point you are. That is the basic point. But I'm not even asking you to do that right now. I'm just asking you to be here in class, all eyes and ears open. Old NCERT was published by R.S. Sharma as his book. So the 1986 NCERT, ironically, Bipin Satish and R.S. Sharma, the old NCERTs, when the publisher just changed the book itself. So if you are doing R.S. Sharma, you're doing the old NCERT. Okay. Yes, Shivani, but a PPT still has to be used. Clear the syllabus for all. I am getting confused. Nikhil. Now, very simple point. Syllabus says nothing. Syllabus literally says nothing. Now, what I want from you is, what is third? Third, reference book. Welcome, good morning. Third means third book, which you can use. Concentrate. Now, NCERT books are available online on NCERT website for free in PDF form for everyone. Now, 2024 BPT NCERT is enough, is necessary. 20 thereafter, it's a different story altogether. Okay, now I want you to stop doing one thing. NCERT link has also been pushed by the SME, very kind of the SME to push that also. So you can find every book chapter which has been told about or which has been mentioned here. Now, first thing I will ask you to do, which is going to basically take a lot of burden off your shoulders, because a lot of you do this. Stop worrying about the course. I will take it forward. I know where we will stop and where to reach, when to reach. So will we complete it? Will we not complete it? Where is this chapter? Where is that chapter? I know where it is. So what I want from you is, first 35 minutes I'm pushed in to basically prep you. And the prepping concept is that syllabus does not say anything. I will tell you what that issue is created with that. Further books have been told to you, and I have told you 7 modules ancient, 7 modules medieval, 10 modules art and culture. If you want me to tell you the modules, they are meaningless to you, which is, first is Indus Valley Indus Valley prehistory. Second is Vedic and Mahajanpada. Third is, for example, Maurya, then post Maurya, Gupta, post Gupta. Now I don't know what you do with this information. Rather, just keep on concentrating in class. Everything will be fine. Are we on the same page? A lot of you are still fashionably coming late. You would have to watch the recording for what have been done till this point. I want you to engage. I don't want you to sit there. If you're not able to follow, tell me. I will be happy to repeat. That is not a problem. Okay. Okay, Jhansi, that is not an issue. That is for everybody. You give it later. No issues. Mehul, I can't do that. Wrong course. Can we start our discussion? It's our book NCERT concept have. What you mean to say is that are we covering NCERTs? Yes. Firstly, don't hastily write full sentences. I will understand. Okay. Books done. You know who I am and what the syllabus says. Now we are starting our course, Ancient India, first module, and prohibitions and issues related to ancient India should be kept aside. Blank slate, start with me. Okay. Ashay, I can see your messages. Where I need to, I do it. Okay. After third reading of PPT NCERT, yes, you can, Devansh. Perfect. Okay. What is the strategy, Nikhil? First, cover something with me, then we'll talk about strategy. Acha, one more thing, because I know eager souls will be sitting there. Previous year questions, once I cover a certain portion. हाँ, आ गया. Sir, previous year analysis of the subject. आ गया. It's already here. As I said, sir, previous year analysis of the subject. Now, see. Previous year of history is not like other subjects, that all statements come from one module itself. Most probably, it takes at least 3 to 4 modules to do one set of questions. So if I'm not doing previous year questions, there's a reason for that. So when needed, previous year questions will also be done with you. Previous year questions don't prove anything because they've already been answered. or questioned by the UPSC. They only tell you pattern and depth, which I understand and I will inculcate to you. Once we are covered with, for example, 3 modules are needed to cover first set of previous year questions. So if I'm not doing it, for example, in a school fashion or someone else does it, I'm not someone else and I don't do it in school fashion. So every module previous year question is not relevant. It has to be done together. So stop writing previous year questions in the chat box. Okay. Now I'll let you settle down automatically. I will now start my discussion. Now we start ancient, first module. It's called prehistory and Indus Valley civilization. I've already given you the introduction. Now there's a problem. And the problem is that UPSC has not told me where to start from. They've written history of India. Now, history of India starts from the time it drifts out of Australia and starts to drift towards Asia. History of India can be from the dinosaur phase itself. So I need to find my starting point. I need to find my starting point. Where should I start? But in order to do that, we have to understand 3 concepts. 3 concepts. Now, I could have done without teaching you these 3 concepts. I could have presumed that you know it. But the next 35-40 minutes, what we will do is something called base building. I'm building the foundation. And if you understand the foundation, you'll understand ancient and medieval better, or generally history better. So this is a technical discussion. It's a conceptual discussion, but has nothing to do with your syllabus. So intricate questions are irrelevant. And what I am telling you, you take it to face value. You take it to face value. What I'm telling you is important. And therefore, we need to find our, this is basically what a student learns in BA honors. In the first 2 months, they're taught this. I am telling you in the first 40 minutes, what is that basic idea? So I'm giving you academic level understanding, and I'm making you today a student of history. You cease to be a UPSC aspirant. You become a student of history. And if you understand this, you will understand everything. Now, the first question which comes to our mind, we've done all of this, is that where should I start? Where should I start? And the answer to that question comes from where we exist. We means you and me. And you and me are what? Are what? Are what? What are we? Don't sleep. Have to engage. We are humans. And to be very specific, we are Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens. And to be even more specific, this is basically physical anthropology what I'm teaching you. We are called hominids. We come from this family called hominids. Hominids. Now, the universe and the earth has a certain age. The universe and the earth has a certain age. You have seen this, for example, in geography, physical geography. This is called geological time. You read it like this from top to bottom, which is 13.7 billion years ago. The Big Bang happens and the universe is formed. But I really don't need to study this because Homo sapiens don't exist. Till this point, I don't need to start with you with ancient India because dinosaurs, we don't exist. where we come into existence is here, which is close to 2 million years ago. 2 million means 20 lakh years ago. 20 lakh years ago. Now, if you look at this table, you will realize it has 4 columns: eon, era, period, epoch, age. Now, you will ask me, why is it like this? It is like this because the measurement of time has different metrics. For example, you have different metrics of length: centimeter, millimeter, meter, kilometer. Same way, you don't have to learn any of this. Understand this. Same way, geologists, which is the study of the earth, also divide time. That this is nanometer, millimeter, centimeter, meter, kilometer. Meaning an eon means half a billion years. Era means several 100,000 million years. Period means several 100 years. Epoch is what we are more concerned with, which is tens of millions of years, meaning 10 million to 90 million is where we come into existence. Where we come into existence. So basically, I have finally chosen my starting point. Congratulations. We will start at 2 to 2.5 million years ago, because you and me come into existence and that period through what is called as evolution. Through what is called as evolution. And with this, everything before it is irrelevant, because history is the study of man and woman or humans. So this is all geography for you. This is where my story starts. Now, I have chosen where I'm going to start. I have chosen where I'm going to start. But there remains a issue. How do I divide time? Or what is this BCAD, this, that? Now, in order to understand this, I've told you where we start. Where do we start? Where do we start our story? Based on basic analysis. I'll come back to evolution later. We start at 2 million years ago, because 2 to 2.5 million years ago, humans came into existence. Very good. Very good. Great. I'm literally teaching you anthropology. All this is base. Understand. History is more than facts. It is much more theoretical than what you think. Now it is, now tell me, it is exactly 5:46 p.m. 5:46 p.m. and 13th December 2023. Where is it written that it is 5:46 other than the clock or the phone or any digital device you have? Is there any Akashvani which is happening, or any form of announcement which happens? Is it that there is some tree which is telling you time? Is there any leaf which gives you time? Is there any indication of it being 5:46? No. So what basically, no, the sun also gives you a shadow. That shadow, you understand it something. What I want to say and what I mean to say is, time is a man-made concept. Time is a man-made concept. If right now I say it is 5 p.m. and we all agree it is 5 p.m., then it is 5 p.m. If I say that it is 010101 and the parliament passes a resolution saying that yes, Abhishek is right, 010101, that is 010101. time as you know it is a man-made concept, is a literal man-made concept. Man-made means we as humans agree to it, animals don't agree to it, the nature does not agree to it, nobody agrees to it other than us. We agree that it is 5:48, it is 5:48. And if it is 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And the level of man-madeness of time you can see from time zones. But I am saying it is 5:30, but somebody in London is saying no, it is 12 o'clock. Then somebody in New York is saying no, it is not even 12 o'clock, it is 5:30 in the morning. The simple point is that we have made time. We have made time. Clear? Clear? First point. Please tell the subject, history. We have made time. Right? Okay. I'm giving you theoretical baseline knowledge to understand history. Okay. Now, if time is man-made, we have to use a standard. And the standard we use today is called the Gregorian calendar. Gregorian calendar is basically a Christian calendar developed by Saint Gregory. That is why it's called Gregorian. And the Gregorian calendar divides time in a very peculiar way. Divides time in a very peculiar way. And the division of time is like this. You see. Division of time is like this. If it's a Christian calendar, it will follow which personality? It will follow which personality? It will follow Jesus Christ. Very good, very beautiful. Understand religion very well. So what they say, now please listen to me. What they say is, when Christ was born, it is 0. 0 is the birth of Christ. And anything before him is BC. Anything after his birth is called AD. BC means before Christ, and AD means Anno Domino. Anno Domino means in the year of the Lord. This is basically a Latin word, Anno Domino. Now, if you ask me right now, that's our where is 0? Where is 0? The problem is 0 is at 0. If you ask me when is 0, then you're asking me to tell you area in volume metrics. 0 is 0 when Gregory says 0. This is the problem. Because it is a man-made calendar, it is Gregory's calendar, where he keeps 0 is 0. So therefore, this idea of dividing BC AD is a very Christian way of dividing everything. So 0 is at 0. When Jesus Christ was born, it is 0. But now tell me one thing. In a country, for example, like India, where Christianity came with the Europeans, does this before Christ, Anno Domino, or Christ reference make sense? It doesn't, because we are not the land of the Christ. So historians thought that, see, this time division is okay, but we can't use this religious term before Christ Anno Domino. So what they did was, they made BC into BCE and they made AD into CE, meaning before Christ became before Common Era and this became Common Era. Now, if you'll ask me what is the difference between AD and BC, or BC and BC, or AD or CE, nothing. The division of time remains the same. The nomenclature has changed. The nomenclature has changed. They have just removed the religious connotation of time and made it more secular by adding Common Era before Common Era. Now, I hope that you now understand what this BCE and CE means. It's basically a Christian way of division of time into BCE and CE. How do we consider birth of Christ is 0? For that, we have to now take out Gregory of his grave and ask him, how did you come to 0? He said it is 0, so it is 0. See, if I develop my own calendar and I say today is 0, today is 0. I've just chosen it as 0. It's not how. It's about, do we consent to it or not? If everybody considers it as 0, it is 0. But there's a very big catch to it, which it is actually quite high level, academic level. Basically, Gregorian calendar does not even start with 0. Gregorian calendar starts with 1. Because Romans did not have 0. We invented 0. So Saint Gregory actually is related to the Roman calendar and Roman numerals. Roman numerals, there is no 1, 0. You only know this. You know Roman numerals. Tell me the Roman numeral for 0. Roman numeral, is there any 0? There is no 0 in Roman numerals. Roman numeral starts with 1 only. 1 to 9. That is the biggest issue. So please understand this point. There's a lot of technicality here. I'm bringing it down. Now, do we understand this basic point? CE, BCE, or you just understand this point that it is BC, BCE and ADC? So because I have to teach you something. That is the real thing which you will apply every day. In history, we use BCE and CE today. But the UPSC, you don't know the examiner which level he is. Sometimes they write BC also. Okay. When Christ born? 0. अब ये मत पूछो where is 0? Because 0 is at 0. So it's 0. When Christ was born, he was born in West Asia, 0. Now, what is more important to you is not this. What is more important to you is, a lot of students come to me and say 5,000 to 3,000. This is wrong. The teacher does not know maths. The teacher does not know maths. History teachers failed in maths. It's not wrong. It's basically in BC. It's basically in BC. So, learn this. When it comes to this timeline of BCE and CE, it works like a number line. -5 is bigger or -1? -5 is bigger or -1? -1. The closer you are to 0, the bigger the number is. The further you are away from 0, the smaller the number is. 5 is bigger or 10 is bigger? 10. The further you are away in positive numbers, the bigger it is. Now, you see, this is where the application comes to. When Christ is born, there is no year or date. So you said 0 is developed by Shubham. That has been applied later. When Christ was born, nobody said 0 came. No. Saint Gregory then figured it out and put it like that. So good question, but I'm bringing two things together. The calendar is developed not the day when Christ was born, not say that, okay, let's start to make a calendar. It's a later concept. By that time, Roman Indian numerals had reached the world itself. Okay. Now, in Indian history, I'll tell you when do we shift. Everything, Khushi, everything will be done. Now, what you really need to know here, this is the application. This is what nobody teaches to students, is that, see, in BCE, you always write higher and lower number. And in CE, you always write lower then higher number. Meaning, if I have to write, I will write 5000 BCE to 3000 BCE. But if I have to write in CE, I will write it 3000 CE to 5000 CE. Basically, you and me are right now in 2023 CE. But there has been a 2023 BCE also. CE is common era, BCE is before common era. We had this discussion. After BCE 1 is, yes, you will come to BCE 1, then you'll come to 0, and then you will go to BCE 1 CE. I'm coming to that also. See, I'll give you a thumb rule. In science, you have Fleming's rules, thumb rule, left hand thumb rule, right hand thumb rule. In the examination, there can be a chance that the examiner does not write B, C, or C. When you see higher first, then lower, what is it? It is BCE. And when you see lower and then you see higher, it becomes what? It becomes C. Very good. Great. Perfect. Now, you also need to understand the time difference. 2000 BCE and 2000 CE. How many years are there between these two? How many years are there? Perfect. 4000. Why? You came from 2000 to 0, and then from 0 to you went to 2000. So it becomes 2000 years here, 2000 years here. So when I say to you that Harappan civilization was in, or rather we'll say, the first time we get any evidence of humans is 10,000 BC. That means how much time from today? 10,000 BC. How much time does it mean? It means it will be 12,023 years. It will be 12,023 years. 10,000 in that sector, 2023 here. How? Meaning, see, as I told you, it works like a number line. Here it is negative number, here it is positive number. Birth of Christ becomes a turnover point. I'll tell you in Indian history that the turnover comes between Kushana Shaka. If you understand BC and C, I'll do one thing. I'll give you certain options. And if you can figure that out, I want to teach you how Indian history is then divided. Now, I'll give you 2-3 options. 1 second. Acha. A is in CE or BC? A is in CE, lower, higher. This is then in what? Very good. This is in BC, higher, lower. This is what? C. C, lower, higher. And these two are, this is CE and this is BC. If you can do this much, my job with regards to teaching you geological time or historical time is done. Anybody has any issue in this? Does anybody have any issue here? Anyone? Done, sir? Clear, sir? No problem, sir. Nothing better. Nothing better. Now, for the curious people in class, 2099, 98 BC, 90, yes. Exactly. It ticks down to 0. It goes from 0. Now you see. 1 second, sorry. Ancient Indian history is basically divided like this. 2 million BCE to 10,000. 10,000 to 4,000. 4,000 to 2,600. 2,600 to 1,500. 1,500 to 600. 600 to 324. 324 to 184. 184 to 30. Then 30 to 300. 300 to 600. 600 to 750. Now you see, this is called Paleolithic. This is called Mesolithic, which I will teach you next only. This is called Neolithic. This is called Indus Valley Civilization. This is called Vedic Age. This is called Mahajanapadas. Thereafter, this is called Mauryan Empire. This is called post-Maurya. And basically, the BCE to CE transition happens between Shakas and Kushanas. The two dynasties which are there. This is called the Kushana and Satvahana phase. This is called Gupta. This is called post-Gupta. Do you need to remember this? I will teach you this in a different way, but you should know it. I will, but not right now. Don't remember it right now. Now, this is how we divide this is the period of Chalcolithic. Charan, you said that you don't know history, then you're telling word like Chalcolithic. Playing games with me, eh? Not first class Chalcolithic. Very good. Now, this is how you divide all of Indian history. We have to learn this. Abhi kuch nahi. If I say that learn it, you will still not learn it. So let me tell you when to learn it. So I know you're not that learn it. Okay, learn it. Everything will come as it should. Everything will come as it should. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you a glimpse of what history is. Trying to show you that the difference comes from here. This is all in BC. Till here it is all in BC. Then it becomes C, C, C. You're not understanding this numbering. Why? What is there to understand here? 2 million BC it starts. You can't change it, I can't change it. It's a decided number. I'm just trying to tell you that when they say to you these numbers, you should be able to understand this, because in art and culture, you may have to write it down. How C occurs in real life. You are in 2023 CE, and within the next 20 days, you will go to 2024 CE. You don't write it, but British came in 1757. The Battle of Plassey was 1757 CE. After we go into CE, we presume the CE. Every date which you write today, it is 13/12/2023 CE. You don't write it. Nobody told you. झूठ बोला जा रहा है. It is a Maya. You don't know it. You are being lied to. It is 13/12/2023 CE. But they remove it because it has a certain connotation. That is why they don't talk about it. Simple point is higher lower is BC, lower higher is C. Can you remember this much? Buddhism, Jainism, I will teach you. Don't worry. Not in art and culture, here only. Yes? Are we all clear about this? Because I have to now go to something else. So show the slide age. This. So basically, this is, according to Gregory, 13.6 billion BC. Everything is in BC. According to him. That was. So till this point, 0 to 10,000, this is still not BC only. This should have been written the other way around. Okay. Now, see, it says, Gregorian calendar, higher the value in BC, the further it is from us. Higher the value in C, the closer it is to us. 2021 BC, 2120. This is 4022 years away from you, and this is just 2 years away. If my voice is the issue, refresh. If you are getting this issue, refresh. It should not be an issue. Are we clear about time? Because then I have to go into two things before I give you a break, which is terminology and thereafter concept of evolution. Okay. Now, there will be three words which will be used in the examination again. Prehistory, proto-history, history. The three words. Yes, Shivani. Yes. Prehistory, proto-history, and history is based on a certain way we write history. See, history is written through sources. The dinosaurs are not here. Neither is Alauddin Khilji, neither is Robert Clive, and neither is Dr. Ambedkar or Nehru or anybody. We know about them through sources. Sources can be divided into two things. Two. One is called archaeological, and the other one is called literary. It's called literary. Now, archaeological means artifacts, coins, inscriptions, sites. Literary means texts, books. Numismatics and epigraphy, it is called. The study of coins is called numismatics. The study of inscriptions is called epigraphy. Now, what does archaeological mean? I'll give you a very simple example. I'm standing in the studio, right? The studio collapses. After 10,000 years, they excavate this building. They find the studio. When they find the studio, this studio will be called a site. This is a site. So my phone, this pen, this Wacom, this bottle, these are called material remains. And they will be called artifacts. So there was an artifact which was found. It will weather down, but something will be left. My skeleton will be left with the pen in the hand. So my skeleton with the pen, they will say, okay, this civilization used to use a pen. Something of this will be also left. Some of the money will be left. If left, something will be left. And they will say, okay, they used to have something called remote. The fact is, these are called material things. These are called material things. They will also find certain books. Those books are going to be called as literary sources. And what the material remain is left is called archaeological sources. Now, 99% of all history is based on only archaeological sources. Meaning, to write a text, you need language, you need script, you need a certain system. That we don't find for 99% of human history. That period in which you have archaeological and early writing or language is called proto-history. A very good example of this is Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization, Harappan civilization, as you would know, everything we have signs also, but we don't know what it means. The Harappan script or language has not been deciphered. So that goes into proto-history because there is writing, but we don't know what it meant. Because you and me call it a pen. But after 50,000 years, who knows this is a pen only? So the problem is archaeological sources are based on interpretation. If I keep my phone to my chest and then this building collapses and then only my site is found, they will think that this whole civilization used to keep their phone to their chest. But is that true? No. So archaeological sources are very difficult to interpret. You may think it is something, it could be totally different. And the real history starts from the Vedic period, where we get the Rig Veda as the first text. This is called based on literature, books, and manuscripts, as they're called. Manuscripts means early books. Why am I telling you this? Because in the examination, they will write with reference to prehistoric period. You should know prehistory is only, this is only prehistory. In Indian history, till this point, You call it prehistory. This is proto-history. And from this point forward, you call it history. Half of the art and culture questions students get wrong because they don't know the difference. It says, tell me something about prehistoric painting. They start to write about Mughals. So prehistoric means when there was no writing itself. When there was no writing itself. Now I have taught you two very interesting but very heavy historical BA honors history level ideas, time and terminology. Are these two things clear? Will you be able to identify prehistory, proto-history, history difference? You will be able to. Very good. Now comes the most difficult part, and then we take a break after your head starts to become a little bit warm. Okay. Literature, as soon as literature comes, we call it history. Yes. Only IVC comes in proto-history. Yes. Proto-history means writing is there, you can't make it out. You don't know what it means. Okay. Santosh will talk about that. Don't worry. Whoever has told you that, there's a problem in that. Okay. Caves and pillars are under archaeological. Yes. Okay. Aryan concept will come. Vedic Arya wrote the Vedas. I will tell you Aryan debate. Who are Aryan? See, this ancient India and medieval India is your history. First religion. When does the first religion come? What is Buddhism, Jainism? First time women got discriminated against. Everything I will teach you. Whatever I'm teaching you, what you are today is because of this history only. I will teach you that. Don't worry. Okay. Now, we have decided 2 million BC I will start. But the problem is there's no writing. There's no writing. Now, I have to decide how to study this period. Herein comes a very interesting solution. The solution is, for example, see, we evolved from what are called apes, chimpanzees. We all come from the same family. In biological terms, we come from the same family. But we evolved out of them into a new subgroup which is called hominid. Hominid means human-like. Human-like. Now, under hominid, you and me are another subgroup which is called Homo sapien. But Homo sapiens automatically did not come. Within hominids, there's a family called Australopithecus. You don't have to remember this. Don't worry about this word. It's called Australopithecus. And from Australopithecus comes Homo. Now, you would say, sir, you are starting at Homo sapien. But why aren't you starting at Australopithecus? Nikhil, I can see a pattern. Pay attention. Apes and chimpanzees are there. We evolve into a larger category called hominid. Under hominid, you have Australopithecus. And then from Australopithecus, you become Homo. Now pay attention to this, that why am I not talking about Australopithecus? Because Australopithecus has not left anything for us to understand them from. There are multiple Australopithecus. Australopithecus gari, Australopithecus this, that, Afarensis, multiple. But the first time we actually study about humans, and your oldest ancestor is called Homo habilis. Homo habilis. Now, why are they called Homo and Homo habilis? Because for the first time, the early humans develop thumbs. Habilis means handyman. See, I have to decide how to study 2 million BC. But in order to decide that, I'm basically explaining to you. Again, I don't need to, but I'm explaining to you. Why am I starting in 2 million? Why not at 5 million? Why not at 6 million? I'm not starting at 6 million. I'm not starting at 5 million because Australopithecus, who is our pre-ancestor, we come out of this family of Australopithecus because they did not leave anything behind to study us from. We have found skeletons, but they're nothing more. Homo habilis is the first member of our family. Homo habilis is the first member of family. Now, some of you maybe not be able to understand or not be able to imagine it. Imagine it like this and you will understand it. You have surnames. You have surnames, right? You have, for example, Chaudharies, you have Mishras, you have Aluvalias, whatever your surname is, Kumars. This is that surname. Yadavs, Kaushik, whatever. This is your great grandfather or grandfather. Great grandfather or grandfather. This is your father. Or this is your great grandfather. And this is your grandfather. And then will come your father called Homo erectus. And then you come out of it called Homo sapien. I'm trying to give you a linearity to it. Because what happens is students are not able to imagine. So this is the larger group is called surname, that Yadavs or Mishras. My great great grandfather was Australopithecus, but he was not me. I am better than him. But he evolved into, or he gave birth to grandfather, who then gave birth to father and then to me. Is it making sense? Australopithecus don't have thumbs, I'll tell you. They don't have thumbs. Is this making sense? Anybody who had a little bit of doubt here? Little bit of doubt. If you are having doubts, never pick up anthropology as optional, because I'm literally teaching you physical anthropology. Okay. Now, it's a new generation. Great. Very good. It's a generational thing. It's called an evolutionary cycle. Evolutionary cycle. We evolve to become better. Now, Homo habilis. How is it different from Australopithecus? Australopithecus, if you will see, should you remember this? No. Understand. I will tell you where to remember from. Homo habilis and Australopithecus is different because Australopithecus did not have a thumb separated from the hand. And as soon as Australopithecus gives birth to a new type, he goes into Homo. Or we call him Homo habilis because he has a thumb. Now, I will ask you to do this experiment. Try to pick something up. For example, this remote. But try to pick something up without using your thumb. The remote here. Try to pick something up. And you will realize that your hand grip will be very weak and you can't really do anything. Very rudimentary grip you will have. Very simple grip you will have. And if I ask you to write something, you can't even write anything. This is why Australopithecus is not going to survive in the concept of survival of the fittest. Evolution happens with survival of the fittest, and the need of the hour was to have a thumb. And that is what your great great grandfather develops or grandfather develops, which is thumb. Now, the problem with Homo habilis is that as much as he has a thumb, they used to have what is called a C-type spinal cord. C-type spinal cord means they used to be like this. So therefore, they used to walk on their all fours, meaning both the feet and the hand. Both the feet and the hand. How gorillas, apes, and monkeys do it today. You'd have seen monkeys walk on all four legs or all four, both legs and hands. Have you seen that? Monkey you've seen? Yes. Now, if I have a thumb and if I walk on my hands, will I be able to do anything? Will I be able to do anything? No. So, Homo evolution went one step forward by finally developing an S-shaped spinal cord. And that species of humans is called Homo erectus. You stand erect because your spinal cord is S-shaped. And by Homo erectus, what happens is you become what is called bipedal. Bipedal means walks on two legs. Bipedalism or walking on two legs gives you your hands free. And when you have your hands free, you now start to play with things. What if I take a rock and push the rock to the next rock? What if I take this stick and put it into the rock? And what Homo erectus develops is a tool. And this is where I can now catch the Homo erectus and study his history. Because what he leaves behind or what was left behind were tools. Homo erectus made tools. Homo sapiens make tools. And now comes the question, how can I make out it is a Homo erectus tool or a Homo sapien tool, which I'll come to. But if you look at the nomenclature, it's called Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. I have done this only to tell you one thing, and any teacher does not do this. Just say it away, says Paleo means old stone age, middle stone age, and new stone age. This is what everybody says. Would have heard people on YouTube, new stone age. But those fools don't tell you why you are studying stone tools. Why are you studying stone tools? What is the reason that the lithic word is so important? Lithic means stone. Why is that stone is the only way we get to know about our ancestors? And we get to know about our ancestors because they left tools behind. And these tools are our first source. That is why I'm starting in 2 million BCE and not 6 million BCE. Are you getting the point of this discussion? All for this one point, which I could have presumed. Source of what? Source of history. I see. History is like tracking through a GPS on a map. I need something to track you with. Right now, I can track you through your phone. But how do I know that Homo erectus was there? Because he left stone tools behind. And the fact is, tools give us a very important indication of something, which is the second point I'll make. Tools are mostly available from that 3 million phase. 3 million phase. Okay. Skeletons without fingers or just thumbs have been found. Skeletons with a lot of things have been found. Don't worry about that. Sania, the break is coming. Hang in there. Okay. How does their name come? Ekta, all of it has been made up. You call him Ram, Shyam, Gita, Sita, doesn't matter. They call it Australopithecus, Homo erectus, totally your call. You want to call Homo erectus Rahul? No issues at all. Okay. Now, it's all a made up concept for you and me. They didn't call each other, Are Australopithecus Ghari, how? I'm Homo erectus. No, no, no. That is not how it works. We have created this nomenclature so as to create a certain idea of understanding. So it's like, how are you named? Your parents named you. So you can be called anything. That is why in India, every child has 4 names. Grandparents call other thing, parents call something else, friends calls totally different thing, official name is totally different. So happens. So this naming is all made up concept. Okay. Now, this is the last thing I'll explain to you, and it is related to the brain itself. Then I'll give you a break. Okay, I know the cognitive ability is going away. Now the question is, sir, you said tools. You said tools, but every tool is the same. Or tools look the same? No. Tools are an indication of a word which is called tools reflect cognitive ability. Cognitive ability means the ability to think. The ability to think. Meaning that 2 plus 2 equals to 4. A first class student can understand. Right? But 300 BCE and 5 and 200 BCE, if I try to explain this to anybody in first class, they will throw me out. And if I make it even more difficult, I go and do something like this. I don't even know what I've written, but I just know it's an integration sign. So this integration differentiation, first class and 11th class student, the difference is cognitive ability. The difference is cognitive ability. That is why you are told something in NCERT, and then I come and say, no, incorrect, different. That is why, being a PCM with economics student, I have studied science, PCM with economics. Everything till 10th, what are you taught in class, in your NCERT is wrong when you come to 11th. In 11th, everything becomes wrong. Because your cognitive ability is only to understand what you could understand in 10th. 11th class, now vectors and all come, and now you start to regret the decision to take science. That's a separate issue altogether. But the fact of the matter is, cognitive ability is your level of understanding. But here, it's not about 2 plus 2 or differentiation, integration, and vectors. Cognitive ability here is directly related to brain size, which is basically cranial capacity. Total my time waste. In what context are you saying? I have no idea. Okay. Cranial capacity. Cranial capacity means how much volume you have in your head. Meaning that if I take out my skull, break it, and fill it up with water, what I will get is volume. CC, cubic centimeters. Cubic centimeters. Now, all this is anthropology. Yes, anthropology. Now, basically, you and me have 1450 to 1400 cc. Meaning, you and me have more or less exact cranial capacity. 1400 to 1450 cc. And what happens is we have seen a very beautiful correlation. Tools become more sophisticated as cranial capacity increases, which means that cognitive ability increases. Meaning, we have seen that our jaw became smaller and our brain became bigger. But 1400, 1450 is a sweet spot. If you go to 1600, cognitive ability goes down. If you go to before that, cognitive ability again goes down. Homo habilis, we believe, had 6 to 800. Homo erectus had 8 to 1000. And Homo erectus, Homo sapien, has 1400 to 1450 cc. What I mean to say, and this is the most important point I want to make right now, is that we study tools because tools are a window towards cranial capacity and cognitive ability. The tools became better and better as we moved forward, and this is how we study old Stone Age, new Stone Age, middle Stone Age. This division which you saw here, Paleo, Meso, Neo, is because tools are becoming better and better. So I started with a question in front of you. Why do I start at 2 million? None of this is relevant for the examination. I started with this question. Why do I start at 2 million? I start at 2 million because from 2 million I get to know tools. Now the second question was, what is so special about studying tools? Tools give us an opportunity to understand evolution and also the ability of humans to become better and better. Till we do not have any consequent or conclusive literary evidence, we always look towards what you have created as humans. Because if no text exists today, the fact that I can call somebody through a wireless phone is a true indication of the cognitive ability of the humans today. We started with telephones, we came to this, and we are going further. And understand one thing, evolution is not stopping and has not stopped. We are seeing that because of the way we are living today, children are born with now new mutations or changes. For example, we are seeing two major changes in children today. One, their eyes are becoming bigger and bigger, and their thumbs are also becoming bigger. The reason, because the more we use screens and phones and lights, the cornea is becoming bigger and the retina is becoming bigger. And everything you do with your phone is your thumb. So we are getting bigger and bigger thumbs. As we go on, evolution will keep on happening. But I started with 3 questions with you. 3 questions. What is the concept of time? Everybody says they understand that. Now I have established to you why 2 million BC. That you also understand. Thereafter, I've also told you why tools. That you also understand, because tools are the window to studying our history. So technology and cranial capacity has a relationship. Evolution of tools correlate with development in cognitive ability, and therefore we can map the history of humans by understanding tools itself. Very simply, I could have just come and said to you within the first 10 minutes. So the first chapter is prehistory, Paleolithic is the first chapter we will understand. We will understand humans through tools. Rather than presuming that why am I using tools, I have brought you in the past close to now 2 hours. I've brought you a certain, I've basically given you a certain understanding that why tools, why 2 million BCE, and what is this BCE. If all these three things are clear, then we take a break. And after the break, everything is relevant for the examination. Perfect. Tool tell us technology of that time. Perfect. Yes, 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 yes. So does all Paleolithic belong to Ice Age? When we come back. When we come back. Don't jump the gun. Patience. I want everybody's yes. If yes, we move forward. Why 2 million BC? Why 2 million BC? Because Simranpreet, we get for the first time tools. We get a tracking device to track human evolution. Tools help in tracing evolution. Great. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Great. BCE question mark. Before common era. Cranial capacity is the capacity of our skull. Yes, Vamina. So when somebody now or your parents say that your dimag chota hai, no, everybody's mind is the same. Everybody's mind is the same. Everybody's skull is the same. It's just that how much we use it. So 1400 to 1450. Everybody cc's cubic centimeters. Everybody's brain today is born in that same capacity itself. IQ has nothing to do with cranial capacity. That is intelligence quotient. No. Your if I fill water in your skull and take out the brain, 1400 1.4 liters of water will go inside. Okay. Can we say 2 million ago Homo erectus came for the first time? Yes, Anurag, yes, that is what we're going to talk about. S shape from Homo erectus. Can it also happen 90 BC and 10 CE if they don't written BCC? How? That will never be the case, Ranjan. If they're giving you single date, it will always say BC or CE. Or if they're giving you, if say they're 90 to 10, then it has to be BC and C because the bigger is first. Okay. If Christ was born on 0, why do it on 25th December? Good question, Sarita. Art and culture will understand festivals. Asha, I have not been able to see your question. Rather than asking me, please reply to me. Write the question. I am confused. NCRT told 7th to 12th for medical. So should I? For medieval, 6th and 12th part 1 is ancient. 7th and part 2 is medieval. Albert Einstein had bigger brain than humans. No. Tool making human being, developing human being as like human being become weak in future. Tool make human being to develop human being as like human being to make weak in future. I'm understanding the emotion that the devices are making us dumber. Yes, in a way. Write properly, it will be better because I don't have to read it twice. Cognitive capacity directly proportional to how developed. Yes, Akanksha. But after 1450, that way elephant should be the smartest, but that is not the case. That is not the case. Can we take a break here, please? Okay. Are we going to be 7 lectures of ancient? Yes, yes, yes. Not like this, something different. Okay. We come back at 7 p.m. and we'll take the story forward. Acceptable? Though it's not a democracy, but yes, we come back at 7 p.m. Okay. See you. Welcome back. A whole sir break till 7. Sir, कहाँ हो? Sir, after break session, it will start or not? Obviously. हम कहाँ जाएंगे? Where will I go? First class so gave you 5 minutes extra. You thought the world ended only. Yes, you need to check the syllabus once. When was zero used for Jesus' birth for the first time? Christian scriptures. This then you're asking me to use zero for a Christian timeline itself. Most probably after his death, birth 50, at least 100 years later. Okay. Species has more than 1500 seeds, then why aren't they intelligent? Lakshya, because body to brain ratio matters. That is, elephant should be the most smartest. But there, it's about body to weight ratio. Your size of your brain should go with your body ratio. If it's too much, it's useless. If it's too less, it's useless. Okay. Ashay, still you are telling me that I'm not answering your question. Ask me the question. Can we say tool of forces of production? Yes, they are. More accurate tools, more accuracy. Yeah, more accurate brain, yes. Why we consider only Christ but not any other Lord? Because we follow a Christian calendar, so they will not look at the birth of anybody else. This is the question you had been asking me. It's a Christian thing. We were ruled by Christians, British thing. This is all Eurocentric nature. Okay. Everybody's comfortable again. I'm back. I've not gone anywhere. We will start again. First class gave you 5 minutes extra. I will take that back from the next class. 10 minutes is okay. Okay. Now, if it is asked in interview, Ashay, don't give me this every time. No random question. Acha, why was the Christian calendar based on Jesus only? That is the question you think your interview board will ask you. You're answering the question in the answer itself and the answer in the question itself. Why would a Christian calendar think about Christ? So, interview, if you are actually talking about Jesus Christ and his birth in the interview, then you have taken some other route into your interview. As it is, you will most probably mess it up. It should be about you. When were you born? What were you doing? Not about Christian of the Gregorian calendar. What is the difference between Australopithecus Homo? Australopithecus Homo would be the physiology. The brain capacity is lower. I can show it to you here. You see, Australopithecus afarensis comes here, 500-ish. Homo sapien is here, then Homo habilis is here. So it's about physiology, brain size. Okay. Advanced Mutmalaba, not properly advanced, but I'm coming to that. Okay. Now we start our discussion. Whatever I did with you till this point is basically a contextual thing, when I wanted to create a certain understanding in your mind. And now that you understand these smaller details, I can actually discuss what really matters, which is where our story starts. Now, when it comes to our prehistory, we are with a very fortunate subcontinent, because we have found in two places, and this you have to learn. One, a place called Hathnora near the Narmada Valley, and the other one called Odai. Hathnora and Odai are two sites in India where we have got a Homo erectus skull. First at Hathnora by Arun Sonakia, and then at Odai, a small baby Homo erectus skull. Which means that from the Homo erectus period itself, this also becomes the reason Why I started 2 million BCE? Because this is where our Indian history starts. We found other things also, for example, Ramapithecus and all, but they're not related to the Homo family itself. Homo family, Homo erectus skull comes from Hathanora and Odai, and therefore Odai and Hathanora become references to this larger history of the world where India is also part of it. Now, let's talk about the Paleolithic period. And it is written like this also, Paleolithic. The difference is one is in British English, the other one is in American English. Paleolithic period. The second thing which you will see, every book will give you a different date, because books are mostly giving you different dates according to what source they are referring to. I am giving you the dates which Upinder Singh has given, which basically would mean that this is an optional level book I'm referring to. It's an optional level book I'm referring to. So Paleolithic or Paleolithic means we are referring to the period of 2.5 to 2 million years ago, or rather I'll write BCE straight. BCE 2.5 to 2 million, 2.5 to 2 million BCE till 10,000 BC. Now, the Paleolithic period. Now, again, everything is logical. There's nothing to be learned. Try to understand this. The Paleolithic period falls under what is called the Pleistocene epoch. Falls under the Pleistocene epoch. A very important point. I will give you one slide on which I'll write all the characteristics. So understand this, and I will tell you how to consolidate it. Now, Pleistocene epoch, if you remember here in this slide which I showed you here, you see it says Pleistocene Holocene. This is epoch, the way we divide time in that sense. Now, the Pleistocene epoch has a name which you know quite well since your childhood, which is called Ice Ages. Which are called Ice Ages. Ice Ages means, and there are a whole set of movies on this, children's movies on this. Ice Ages are basically thousands of years of cold and snow with small intervals of warming, and in a way thousands of years of cold would mean that 1000 years cold, then 200 years or 100 years of warming, then 1000 years of cold. These are called ice ages. Now, ice ages, you don't need to know the technicality or the terms related to ice ages itself. We can just conclude one thing, that the mean temperature of the earth, what is the mean temperature of the earth today? What is the average temperature? What is the average temperature? 25, 27, 30. I think Sayyad, Ayas and Hemant have given the right. Very good, Costa. Very good. Very good. The mean temperature of the earth today is 15 degrees Celsius. It's 15 degrees Celsius. 37 is your body's. 15 degrees Celsius, if you take all the temperature from equator to pole and pole to equator, it comes to 15 degrees Celsius. But the mean temperature of the earth right now is minus 30 to minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is quite cold, quite cold. Now, mean temperature minus 30 to minus 40 now dictates 2 to 3 things. Can anybody tell me what is the proof of the ice ages on your body right now? What is the proof of ice ages on your body? Very good. Hair. The hair which you have on your body is because of the ice ages. This is a reminiscence. This is a minus 30 is the current. No, it's not the current ice. This is Pleistocene. The fact that we all have hair is an evolutionary thing. How? Because we used to have very heavy hair fur on our body, but as the earth warmed, the we lost hair. But the fact that we have hair is actually a example of the Pleistocene epoch and the ice ages. So when we talk about humans, they have very heavy hair cover, heavy hair cover, very heavy hair cover, and this is to protect us from the cold. And before ice ages, we did have, but throughout the ice ages, that is the case. Australopithecus was also in the ice ages before that also. To protect us from the cold, this is around which year? 2.5 to 2 million BC. If you want an exact date, that is not possible. So this is 2.5 to 2 million BCE. If we have any internal condition in the body, we have hair. This is evidence of hair. You are trying. I'm not getting what you're trying to say. Write properly. I have to read twice. Waste time. I'm ready to answer you. Write properly. If we have any internal condition in our body, we have hair. This is evidence of hair. I'm not getting the point. Okay. Pleistocene epoch, ice age. Mean temperature is minus 30 to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Humans have heavy hair cover to protect us from the cold, and we exhibit the same type of evolutionary ideas. But what is more important is animals. Animals are big, very furry, bulky, and more than that, and have a lot of fat on their body. Fat means that because fat gives you warmth. In our body, fat is needed for heat. These animals are quite big. For example, as big as mammoth, saber tooth, a very, very big one. Mammoth would be 10 times bigger than the elephant which you see today. Now, what I'm trying to establish to you is a correlation. Environment equals to evolutionary tendencies equals to tools and attributes. Basically, the environment, the Pleistocene epoch dictates that humans look at a certain way and animals have a certain attribute. Do we understand this? Minus 30 to minus 40, humans and animals. Okay, now Now, what we see is that Homo erectus to Homo sapien transition happens during Paleolithic. And this basically happens between Paleolithic being divided into three parts: upper, lower, upper, middle. What is the issue in -30? I don't get it. What is the issue in that? That is the most trivialist point I've made. What is the no clarity on -30? Substantiate yourself. Tell your question in the same chat. Upper, middle, lower. Now, to understand this, tell me one thing. If this is the ground today, now today Pleistocene, I say same thing, yes. And I start to excavate. If I start to excavate and go lower and lower, I get A, B, and C. The closest to us is A, B, or C. Which is the one closest to us according to time? A. And the furthest will be, it will be C. So this is called lower, this is called middle, this is called upper. So Paleolithic is basically divided into three: lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic, and upper Paleolithic. Lower is the furthest away, 2.5 MYA. MYA means million years ago. MYA, you take it as BCE only. Then till 1 lakh, it is called lower. Middle is 1 lakh to 40,000. Then 40,000 to 10,000. And we believe that Homo erectus, that is, Hemant used interchangeably. Don't worry about that. Homo, this word you're saying, na? This is epoch era, same thing. Interchangeably used in books. Homo erectus to Homo sapien. The transition happens here from middle to upper. From middle to upper. But then you will say, how do we know that it is lower, middle, upper? We know it through the tools. Because from lower to middle, from lower to middle to upper, there's a change in tools. They are crude here and they become better here. Meaning that if I look at the tools from the lower Paleolithic and the upper Paleolithic, I can make out that there's a difference. In the lower, you'll have very big tools, very, very heavy tools like this. They're called chopping. Big hand axe, it was called. They took a stone, broke it off in such a way that they got a pointy edge. And what you get is called a hand axe. They take the hand axe in their hand and they are able to run after the animal itself. Hand axes are the first tool we ever see which humans develop. You take a tool and and this is very important, because the animal is bulky, it cannot run fast. So human could run faster and kill the animal with hand axes. But as we go on further, by middle Paleolithic, they were now making it better, in the sense that if it only had one edge, they were now making double edged. And you will see that the number of tools will increase from hand axes to scrapers to borers. They were boring. And by the time we come to the upper Paleolithic period, the tools totally change. The tools totally change. We have now blades. We have now scrapers, proper scrapers. We have burins. Burins means to make holes. And we have borers. The fact is, I told you that there's a correlation between human ability, cognitive ability, tool making, and evolution. And this is how, through evolution of tools, we can make out that which is the upper Paleolithic, which is the lower Paleolithic, which is the middle Paleolithic. Wherein you have chopper chopping, hand axes, flakes, and they use this rather than this. And by the end of it, we have parallel blades and that. You don't have to remember the name of tools. I will tell you what to remember. I will write it down. Don't worry. I will literally make notes for you, but just understand what I'm trying to say. So the simple point is, you need to understand why are we trying to understand tools and how tools are reflective of human evolution. If you understand that, then you understand everything. Now, evolution of humans is related to evolution of tools, is related to evolution of cognitive ability. Now let's do one thing. Let's consolidate. This is what comes in the examination. Please pay attention. Characteristics of Paleolithic period. This will come as a statement-based question. Will help you generally. I'll come to fire and all. Wait 1 second. First is Pleistocene epoch. Very cold temperatures. So the animals are big and bulky. Humans and animals have thick fur cover to protect from cold. Mean temperature of Earth is -30 to -40 degrees Celsius. -30 to -40 degrees Celsius. Thereafter, second point, the tools are very crude and rudimentary, but over the lower to upper Paleolithic period, tools become more and more refined and better. Third, and this is a very important point, humans are able to develop and control fire as a technology. And this is a very important point. The reason why we were able to survive in such cold temperatures was that fire as a technology was developed during this period. Fire was controlled, we were able to develop, and we were able to make it better also. Rudimentary means very early. fire as a technology was developed, and we were able to use it for warmth and cooking the food. Fourth, very small population of humans lived together as food resources were limited, and that was because hunting and gathering was primary economic activity. And the sixth very interesting thing is they were close to water resources during warming period. No, animals are not right now. Domestication of animals is Mesolithic, not this. Now, flakes transformed sharper, smaller is not this Mesolithic. I know you know weight, but you have to put it in the right place. Epoch means era. Epoch, era, you use it interchangeably. That level of intricacy is not needed. You call it era, you call it epoch, doesn't matter. Correct is epoch, but doesn't matter. Now, as it is, you don't have to write the answer. You have to identify these points in the examination because it's a prelims examination. Now, very simply, Paleolithic had found nails of animals, Mesolithic, but no, Tina, wait. These are the 6 characteristics. Sixth, I have to substantiate to you. These are the 6 characteristics which mark the Paleolithic period, which you can see it here also. Hunting, gathering, habitation near water resources. This is what I have to tell you. Open air sites and use of fire. Now, let me come to this water point. See, when there is a lot of ice, fresh water is automatically available to them. So they can use the fire to melt the water and then drink it. Water is a very important resource. But when there were, for example, 100 years of warming, they always used to be near rivers or fresh water resources. Because you can survive without food for 2 to 4 days, but without water, not more than 1 to 2 days. So the fact of the matter is in rudimentary, what we call as barks of the tree itself or certain type of rudimentary utensils, they used to heat the water. There's no use of language in Paleolithic. That is why it's prehistory. We have no idea. There's no written source. They may have spoken a language. We have no idea. Language in itself does not do anything. It should be written down. And you should be able to understand what is written. So when we talk about Paleolithic, these are the 6 important features. Rock painting and Divya we will discuss in art and culture. That's a separate issue altogether. They might have painted, basically they painted the upper Paleolithic period, but abhi don't bring in art and culture. Just keep it simple. Art and culture part, first topic painting, I will teach you prehistoric only. So you are right, upper Paleolithic, but I'm not bringing that topic here. Water point is they always remain near fresh water resources when it comes to warming phase. Sea breeze can also be used to reason settlement. No, 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 no. Sea breeze and all, don't bring in that. Dinosaur not in this time. Dinosaur were already dead 1 lakh years ago. What was the point of showing you this if you're asking me where is the dinosaur? Dinosaur is 208 million years ago. We are at 20 million. Dinosaur not there. Okay. I told you I will make notes for you. 6 points do you understand? We'll have to tell you more about this. These 6 points, we'll talk about warming period. Warming period is what? Ice age is 1,000 years of cold. Certain warming period. Then again, 1,000 years of cold. Which continent first developed this? Again, you're asking me an irrelevant question. Because there is no person with a photograph with a certificate saying that we developed it first. But everything will most probably be Africa. Then it will travel to other places. The cradle of civilization is Africa. Are we clear about these points? Because I want to show you a map because that is more important. Paleolithic had animals, yes. But animals were not pets of humans. Okay. Now, when we talk about Paleolithic sites in India, why Africa? Because Africa, first humans developed there only. Now, why Africa? There's no answer. Because then when we have to go to then Gondwana and all, then I don't want to go down that very slippery slope to tell you Gondwana land, this land, that land. I don't want to do that. But yes, it is Africa because it was the most stable civilized continent and continental drift will come in. Then I'm basically teaching you geography and that I have no intention to. Okay. Paleolithic, what type of animals? Elephants, which are called big, very mammoth, saber tooth, big deers, big dogs, big wolves. Okay. Coming to, do we need to learn these sites? At least let me teach you something. A lot of you are coming to conclusions. The best thing is, whatever you know, forget about it. Because most probably you know it in a different context. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just blank slate. I've given you 6 points. Does anybody have issues in these 6 points? Please be very clear. Then I talk to you about that map. Does anybody have any issue in these 6 points? I get everybody's no and we move forward. Okay. Now, see, this map is the proof that most of these civilizations or most of these sites were around resources which were freshwater. Because if you see, we find the most number of sites in valleys of rivers. Son Valley, Narmada Valley, Balan Valley, and you have the most important site, which is called Bhimbedka. It's called Bhimbedka. Now, there are close to 120 sites which are there for Paleolithic. They are all marked on this map. And I think nobody here has the time or the patience to remember 120 sites of Paleolithic. Even in optional, you do all the standard ones. Nobody learns nothing. But there's a catch. And that catch is more important. Just learn this one site and this one. The two which I've marked. Didwana and Bhimbedka. But the more important question is, which is written there, which is that why is that, or we never find any sites in this area and this area. Can anybody tell me why? Why do we not find any Paleolithic sites in the Western Ghats or the alluvial plains? Mountain forest. Athira, good, very good. Newly formed, no rocks, cyclone, no river, no. They were formed later. Very good, Anurag. Heavy forest, environmental factors. Alluvial plain, no rivers, formed newly. Okay, it's not iron. The period we are talking about here, the reason why alluvial plains we don't find any sites is it is in the process of formation. Alluvial plains were created by the silt brought down by the Himalayan rivers. And even if there is a site, it is so down buried into the continent of India that we'll never find it. And over and above that, if there was a site, there was also a collision between the Indian subcontinent and the Eurasian plate, which led to the formation of the Himalayas itself, and there could be destruction in that sense also. But what is more interesting is the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats we don't find sites because we know that during that collision, the Western Ghats subsided into the water. And that is why we have a very big continental shelf here, because most of the Western Ghats went into the water itself. And that is why if there was a site, it is underwater right now. It is underwater right now. So the fact of the matter is, during this period, we don't find sites in India or in any continent where it is being formed in that regard. It is being formed in that regard. So Paleolithic, you see, there's no state, meaning no polity. There's no there is what is called a simple society based on hunting, gathering, and fire, crude tools. Can you remember these basic points for Paleolithic? If somebody says to you any of these words, will you be able to identify them? Why not near rivers? They are near rivers which were based on fault lines, not based on Himalayan, because they're being formed. Yes, Gagan, yes. Crude tools means very early tools. Okay, perfect. Now we go to Mesolithic. Simple society means no division. Everyone is equal. No division based on anything. So we are divided according to caste, varna, this, that. No state means no political structure. Today we have government of India, no political structure like that. Now, Mesolithic. Now you see the logic of it. It's not difficult. It's not factual. It's logical. Mesolithic introduced what is called as Holocene. It's called as Holocene. And Holocene means this is the period or epoch between 10,000 to 4,000 BCE. This is the period of or epoch of warming of the earth, which we today call as global warming. And in Mesolithic, what happens is mean temperature comes to 15 degrees Celsius. Now, if you have warming means ice melts. Ice melt means more greenery, rather we'll say more plants. Mean temperature means average temperature, more plants, and no need for protection from cold. More plants also means one thing, which is more gathering activities. So you can have more food available. because you have more plants to eat. And this is a very interesting thing. Animals will become smaller, lose fat, and if they become smaller, they become slower or faster? They become faster. They become faster, and this means need to change tools. Why do animals become smaller? Because with very high temperatures, with very warm temperatures, you don't need all of that fat. So they will shed the fat and they'll become smaller. They were big because they needed to hold the fat inside them. Same point of time, humans lose the hair and now need faster tools. And this leads to what we call as microliths are developed. You see how environment equals to tool technology change. See, I had a hand axe. Not BrahMos. BrahMos missile thoda banai. I had a hand axe, and if the mammoth used to run at 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers per hour, I could run behind the mammoth and do hand axing. But if the deer, which was, for example, running at 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers per hour, now it is hitting at 15, 30, 40 kilometers per hour. So will I run up behind it and kill it? I can't do that. I cannot run behind animals now because I have a certain ability to go and stab it, but I can't. So now I need a smaller tool. A smaller tool which I will tie to a stick, and then either I will throw it, which is a spear, or I will then put it into bow and arrow and basically use the smallness of the tool to use as it as speed. And that is why you see we get microliths, triangles, trapezes, that bulkiness is gone. Small tools are developed. So I can just tie this on a stick and then throw it towards the animal itself. Mini tools, microliths. Now you tell me, is this factual or is this not logical? This is basically logic, that because the tool was very big, you can't use it. Now you have to make a smaller tool. And that ability to do problem solving is called cognitive ability. So, okay, I can't run with this tool, so I need to develop a smaller tool. If I develop the smaller tool and put it on a stick, then I can throw the stick. This is called problem solving. Inventions happen when necessity is there. That's why necessity is the mother of invention. So the invention of microliths comes in because there was a need to throw and basically faster animals means faster tools. Now, if animals will become smaller, certain animals will also become vulnerable. Yes or no? Because, for example, if a dog was very big, it will become now smaller. So it is now, in a way, vulnerable to the bigger animals. So the most important thing which developed other than microliths in this period is called domestication of animals, which is animals aspects. Animals aspects. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is it is a pure relationship of reciprocity. Reciprocal relationship. How? I get an animal which protects me and I protect the animal. So, dogs, sheeps, cattle, goats, cats, etc. Now you will say, sir, how did they know that they should go to the dog? Now it's all trial and error. Somebody kept a lion as the pet. He did not survive. So they said, okay, lion nahi rakhna. Then somebody kept a crocodile as a pet. Then the crocodile ate the same person. Then it's all trial and error. They had gone through every animal. They realized, okay, these 5, 6 can't kill us. So it's not that randomly said that, okay, dog, cat, sheep, goat. No, no. It's like experience. Somebody brought a wolf, wolf ate. So then wolf nahi. Dog is better. Then they said, for example, he brought a elephant. Now elephant eats more than what you eat. They said, no, no, no. This is too big. Leave. So these animals which were domesticated were based on trial and error. But it's a hit and trial method. That what you are able to do it, you do it. Where were the cattle and goats? They were there in Pleistocene. They were there in Paleolithic period. But they were size of one truck. So how will you put it into a cave? Horses were also there, but horses were too big. Horse is very hard to domesticate because horses like to run and you can't run. So horse would have been there, but today I slept and tomorrow the horse was 10 kilometers forward. So then what will you do? Run and get it back. Horse may have been there. As it is, we Indians have a obsession with this horse question. So simple point is, if you don't keep horses in stables, they will run away. But dog was a very good relationship. So dog, sheep, cattle, goat, cats, whatever, the animals, Vedic period don't talk about right now. I know you know, don't talk about. They know tying, meaning trying. They try. Like we as humans try. You try, I try, we all try. That is what is human nature. As it is, there was no UPSC exam to give. So what will they do? Every day new try, new cattle. So there is no modern economy that you have to run behind examinations, clear the 10th class examination. No, no, no. They have nothing to do. What will they do? They will do this only. Dubai lion is domesticated. So they have to be a sheikh for that. But not every household has a. Donkeys aren't used. They are used. Any animal you say, they were used. Any animal. I am not giving you an exhaustive list. And we are not children that we will learn donkey, horse, this, that. No. I'm just telling you domestication of animals. Animals means everybody. Cow, yes. Cat, yes. Lizard, reptile, snake, everything, yes. Ox, yes. Anything you will write here, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Anything, any animal which comes to your mind, yes. Okay. Now, monkey, gorilla, chimpanzee, insect, ant, everything. Yes. Tiger, yes. एकदम tiger पाल के रखते. Dodo, everything. Yes. Birds, sharks. They should sit on the shark. How will you domesticate shark? You will ride the shark. Use logic. This is a logical subject. Hawk. कैसे hawk? चिड़िया. How will you keep a bird domesticated when they only fly? You will fly with the bird. I really don't want to go into it as much as it is engaging to me also. I really don't. You write any animal, I'll say yes. You think about the feasibility. Okay. Now, Now, because there are more food resources, what about ox? Yes, yes, ekdam. Eggs, yeah, ox. Ox, yes. What do cats do except sleeping and eating? They protect everything. Okay. Now, because there are more food resources, bigger population was possible, and semi permanent settlements develop. Basically, because it's warmer, they can sleep in the out. So you have, for example, small hut structures which they make, very rudimentary, basic, but they are nomadic. They are nomadic, which means that they move from place to place. Why do they move from place to place? Why are they nomadic? Why are they nomadic? Very good. They chase the food, because wherever the animals go, once they've used all of the animals in an area, they move further. Very good, great, perfect. Now the fourth very interesting thing about it's still a hunting gathering society. It's still hunting and gathering. The fourth most interesting thing, I will bring it on a slide, don't worry, and this is a very important point, is that burials and rituals develop, which is basically a initial development of religion. Not religion, but this is the stepping stone. What do I mean by burial? See, burials and rituals are a need of hygiene. Burial. Dafnana, burial. Now, burial is firstly an issue of hygiene. Grave, yes. Hygiene. Why? Because see, if there's a body which has died, if it is on the surface near you, what will happen to that body over a period of time? It will start to decompose, rot, smell, and it will become a source of diseases. So these early humans did not, in the Paleolithic period, did not bury, because it was cold temperature. Cold temperature, cold in a way protects the body itself. But as soon as you have warmer temperatures, decomposition starts to happen. And therefore, what they do is that they start to bury their dead. They bury their dead because that ways the body is now not in plain sight or plain air. So it's a basic thing related to hygiene, that burying a body was a way of removing the contaminant. But this is something which starts like this, which is burials. But what we see is that over a period of time, when we used to used to see the grave, there used to be the person, and then his tools were also kept here. And we also have seen, for example, a burial site where the man is there. He had a dog. So the dog is also here. And his tools are here. Now, this is called burial rituals. These are called burial rituals. Now, see, burial rituals show you a certain idea of how the early human is able to understand or trying to understand death. Imagine the level of fright people used to have, that I slept and another person slept, but I woke up. One, that person did not wake up only. The difference between sleeping and death is that you wake up. So imagine that a person would think that if I sleep, I may not get up only. Understand the level of fear which humans would have. But because human body is based on energy, they would automatically sleep. So over a period of time, they realize that, okay, this person is not sleeping, is gone. Now the point was, where is he gone? And they used to understand that this person has gone somewhere. So he will need his tools and his pet. So this burial ritual basically is them trying to make sense of death. The concept of afterlife, that maybe this person has gone somewhere, we'll give his tools to him, that he can go and use that there also. There can be possibility that they died with the tools. No. You never die with tools. You don't know when you're going to die. So it can't be that I keep all the tools in front of me, then I lie down, and then I keep my dog also next to me, and then I wait that I'm going to die. Burial rituals are always done by people other than the person who is dead. Dog was alive or dead does not really matter. There's no human rights activist PETA at that point of time. If it is alive, it will be killed and kept. If it is killed, it will be kept. Nobody cares. I don't care, and you should also not care. So, simple point is, burials are an indication of rituals. In a way, if you see to it, all religion is about death and afterlife. So in a way, this is the point from where everything starts, wherein they're trying to figure out, okay, there's something called, something has happened to this person. Maybe they have gone somewhere, this and that. Life after death, true or false? This is not Astha channel, so doesn't really matter. True, very good. False, I don't know. So, wrong question to ask me, that does life after death exist? No, I'm not a Baba, not my job. That is a religious question. You will get different answers. If you want to believe in it, sure. If you don't want to believe in it, okay. Right? Now, no, Ekta, no wrong and right question. Good question. A lot of people were thinking about it. You had the courage to ask it. That's okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll consolidate Mesolithic on one slide. Before we do that, there are certain sites, much lower sites in India, and some of them are quite important. See, Bhimbedka is a site which started as a Paleolithic site, became a Mesolithic site also. So this is an important one to remember. Then there are two sites called Bagor and Baghor. This is in MP, this one is Rajasthan. Both are Mesolithic sites. Homo erectus would have become extinct, yes. Little bit of overlap and then extinct. Then you have to remember Langhanaj, 1, 3, 4, and then Sarai Naharai. Sarai Naharai, again UP. Sometimes written as Bihar also. Now, you will ask me, how do I learn it? And the answer to that question is one each day. Don't learn all of them. I am telling you what to learn. But generally, history is like a pizza. Don't have to learn the map. That is of no purpose to you. History facts are like pizza. Do you, when the pizza comes to you, do you just fold the pizza and eat it? No. What you do is, you cut it into slices. And that way it can go down your throat. Same way, not asking you to learn all 5 in one day. Learn one. That's it. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. 15 minutes I'm asking from you. Learn in the morning, check if you remember in the evening. This is called 15 minutes rule. 15 minutes rule. Learn Bagor in the morning. Throughout the day, try to think about Bagor. Evening, if you're able to write Bagor, then the work is done. How can Bhimbedka be both Paleolithic and Mesolithic? Because it's a progression. Paleolithic site can become a Mesolithic site. A town can become a city, a village can become a town, and a town can become a city. So it's a progression. Yes. Let me now consolidate characteristics of Mesolithic period. Mesolithic period. Okay. So the earth becomes, pottery is Neolithic, we're coming to that. Becomes greener. Atul Raj, you're messaging me on email. Paleolithic means. You're here, Atul Raj? Yes? Atul, are you here? है नहीं. Ramashish, you are Atul. So ask me the question here. Paleolithic means old Stone Age. First type of Stone Age. Now what do I do with this email? In between class, you're emailing me. When we have the chat box, why are you emailing me? Right? What does Paleolithic mean? I'll write it down. Okay. Compulsory for us to remember years? No. Vaishnavi, I will tell you that. Animals become smaller and faster. You're seeing email at the same time. Well, I have this. It shows me the notification. If you, a lot of you emailed me, I can see that. But it just says, what is Paleolithic? Whole email is empty. So some of you have emailed me as we speak. I can see that. Animals become smaller and faster. Humans lose hair. You have a very long journey with me throughout. From, we'll start in this year, we'll end in next year. So ground rules. Okay. Second, microliths are developed as faster and sharper tools are needed. Domestication of animals. Animals are made into pets. Fourth, burial rituals and rituals are developing Fifth, hunting and gathering society. Meaning of Pleistocene, Holocene. Name Pleistocene is given to an epoch which is for ice ages. Holocene is the period. We today live in Holocene. There is no, it's just called Pleistocene. You can call it ice age and warming age also. The name has no meaning. Like it's a random name. Pleistocene, Holocene. Sounds good. There's no literal meaning to it. 6. What period you have written in one point? Holocene. Holocene. Hunting gathering society, simple society, but larger population with more food available. And 8, you have larger semi-permanent hits, semi-permanent nomadic settlements. 9, no state. Mesolithic clear? Then we talk about Neolithic and we will stop at 8:30 then. Can we talk about Neolithic? Mesolithic, everybody is clear. Enough time has been given. Okay. Can you explain why Western Ghats? Because Western Ghats subsided, so therefore if there was any site, it is now underwater. We need to remember animals. No, you don't just have to remember domestication of animals. That is it. 4th point, burial rituals. Burial rituals means giving tools to the burials in a way of discussing afterlife. Nomadic means to move around. Did they have marriage rituals? No. Simple society does not have that. In which period fire was discovered? Zara, wake up. Good morning. Paleolithic. If they were asking about epoch, should we write Anthropocene? Don't, Ishita, don't bring in current affairs. Holocene. Don't call it Anthropocene. They will never ask you to write anything. This will be given in the examination. Ancient medieval questions have never come in mains, even once. You're trying to confirm that to me? Yes. But 2023 had a question which was mixed. Don't give up. What is meaning of no state? No form of political formation. No political formation. There is no concept of family, so there will be no form of a marriage concept itself. Semi-permanent nomadic means they home made up leaf material, clay, and then they can away. Okay. I know IFS, I know Indian Forest Service asked all of this. I know why you're asking me that question. But we're doing CSE, Civil Services. Okay. How to connect this topic with newspaper? Don't need to. 4 number explain. Burial ritual of giving tools and certain other artifacts in the burials means they're trying to portray some ritual, some idea in that sense. How there can be sites in Western Ghats when Himalayas was found 40 million years ago? Again, I am telling you there are no sites in Western Ghats. 5 and 6, hunting gathering society means hunt and gather. Simple society is, you're asking me things which I've already written in Paleolithic. And now you're asking me here. Please don't worry about mains type questions. This is for statement based questions in the examination. 8th point, semi-permanent nomadic structures. Huts used made out of basic things, then destroyed. Can we move forward? How the civilization different parts of the world without any communication is similar? Because human nature remains the same everywhere. Can we call it collective society? No. Simple society with no sense of attachment. Okay. Now we go towards and we move towards, I am presuming a lot of you did not write yes, still figuring something out. The people who have said yes for you also. Okay. Democracy. Now, Vivek, irrelevant question. No marriage, then they are in living. Seriously? Seriously? Gajab. Yes. Write it in the exam. When there's no concept of family, there's nothing at all, and there's nobody to judge like you, then how will you call it living? Issue is different. Acha, if not marriage, then how do I marry? Yes, perfectly yes. Okay. Now, come on here. Ask a question which makes sense at least. I've answered every question. You're pushing it 3 to 4 times. Okay. Now we move to Neolithic. And Neolithic is called the Neolithic Revolution. It's called the Neolithic Revolution. Previous age was dead bodies or person burial. Burial as a concept develops only in Mesolithic. Previously it was cold, so they used to just leave the body outside. That's it. Again, Ranjan, unfortunately, your patriarchal notion is coming in between what you're trying to say. If no marriage, then how population got increased and there is no relation? Again, because you are understanding everything within a marital structure and a patriarchy itself. So for that, I have to deconstruct patriarchy for you, and that I cannot do right now. Okay, so somehow they did marry and somehow they procreated. Okay. Did 2023 modern human being, lot of things inside. Then you tell me, how do animals procreate? Do we see two elephants getting married? Have you gone to a marriage of two elephants? Have you gone to the marriage of any animal? We are human beings, we are animals first. So next time when I get an invitation for the marriage of two tigers, I will go. Okay. Why monkeys population increases then? I have no idea. Again, not biology class. Okay. 9th class biology you're asking me. Okay. Cat weddings becoming quite common, unfortunately. Okay. We have come to that era. Okay. Neolithic revolution. Were dead bodies not buried in Paleolithic? No. Now, Neolithic. No, see, never say sorry for a question. No right and wrong question. Somebody wanted to ask it, you asked it because you had the courage. So I rather hats off to you. So no right and wrong question. So Ranjan, totally fine. I didn't. Achha, it's your name is Rajan. तो मैं तो तेरे को बोला ही नहीं. I didn't call you only. Don't worry. So don't worry about that. Rajan, Ranjan, whatever I can see here. Okay. Neolithic is a period of what we call as Neolithic revolution. Because we are able to harness one technology which changed everything. It's called agriculture. It's called domestication of plants. Domestication of plants. Now see, agriculture is a very difficult thing. We don't give credit to our farmers. We don't give it to credit to the people. You can write the UPSC examination, but if I ask you to do agriculture, you will not be able to do it. Because agriculture is a very technical thing. When is the soil ready? When will the seed be sown? How to check for certain things? When is the crop ready? When to harvest it? How to harvest it? How to harvest it in such a way that the grain does not get damaged? Agriculture is a very difficult thing. What seeds to use? Which seeds to use? Where to use? How much water? Every plant has a different technique itself. So our farmers are considered to be very, very taken for granted, but farming is a very difficult task. And therefore, agriculture, you see, took so much time to develop. That from 2 million years ago, we started, and finally, in 4000 BCE, somebody, or through trial, error for centuries, they were able to develop what is called as domestication of plants. Domestication of plants means that you can't randomly grow plants. You need to know the seeds, you need to know the soil, where you have to put it. So agriculture is a very important, very important technology to develop. But agriculture is basically like a trigger. It's a catalyst. Because, for example, if you do agriculture, can you sow the seed and go to a different place? No. Now, basically, when you sow the seed, you can't go to a different place. So agriculture automatically introduces sedentary nature or settled habitation, which is nomadic life has to be given up. Now, if you are sedentary, you will start to get permanent habitations and housing. But what agriculture is even more dangerous than that. I'll tell you why. For example, you have this area. There were A, B, C, and D, 4 farmers. 100 people live and they need 100 kgs. 100 people, 100 kgs. Now, each of this farmer, let's make it into 5. Each of this farmer produces 20 kgs. What is this type of agriculture called? What is this type of agriculture called? This is called subsistence agriculture, which is you produce equal to how much you need. But what happens is that by mistake, D adds more water to his plants and B adds more manure to his areas. And what happens is that D is able to get 30 kgs and B is able to get 40 kgs. Now, 100 kgs was needed. We have 10 kgs more here, 20 kgs more here. This 30 kgs will be called what? This is called what? Very good, Sania. This is called surplus. Now, surplus is a very bad thing because surplus creates power. I'll give you a very simple example. You'll understand it. 4 friends are there, live in one flat. Everybody's salary is 10,000 rupees. Everybody contributes 100 rupees to food, and now they're ordering off Zomato. Can any one person dictate what will come? No, because everybody is giving 100. So there has to be consent. If you want a pizza, if you want a burger, you want chole bhature, whatever it may be. Now what happens is, out of these 4 friends, one gets 20,000 salary and the one gets 50,000 salary. Now this one contributes 200 now and this one contributes 500. Now who dictates what food is going to come? The one who gets 50,000, because he has surplus. Surplus creates power. Now, what to do with this? First, inequality has come because A, E, and C are lower to D and B. So therefore, we have the rise of what is called as complex society, complex society, which is society based on divisions, society based on divisions. And further, now you need an authority to redistribute this surplus. And therefore, the authority which is going to redistribute this surplus is going to be called as early state formation, because we need a person or an institution to redistribute as there is conflict. Agriculture is a poison, and you would have learned in your school days, left hand thumb rule, right hand thumb rule. This is a thumb rule. If agriculture will be there, there will be surplus. If surplus will be there, there will be complex society. When complex society will be there, early state formation. For the first time, polity develops. This is the genesis of political science. This is where all state formation happens. This is why Neolithic is a revolution, because it changes everything. The story is very straightforward. When there will be agriculture, pay attention, there will be settlement and sedentary life. If there is sedentary life, there will be what we call as subsistence agriculture, which will in turn lead to surplus. Surplus will lead to inequality and conflict, which leads to complex society. Complex society leads to need for redistribution and control over these conflicts, and that leads to early state formation. Now you tell me, I don't know, what were you expecting when you started with me? Is this ratification? Is this what you thought ancient India is going to be? This is literal theory, logical way of how we have developed. Literal theory, pure concept. Now you tell me one thing. What will happen to tools? Tell me. What will happen to tools? Tools. Two things. Agri tools pottery will develop. We get a new set of tools itself. Tools which are based on agriculture and the genesis of pottery. Because does a plant give you yield throughout the year? No, it only gives you once. So storage is needed. Now, if you allow me, I'll consolidate all this in one slide and we can then break for today. Tomorrow, I'll give you a way of learning this, which I will tell you tomorrow. Yes? Okay, sir. Very good. So you see, sedentary life, domestication of plants, wheat, millet, barley, everything was grown. Ground polish tools related to agriculture, for example, plow, you have sickle. Pottery appears, complex societies. Now let's consolidate all of this in one slide. Characteristics of Neolithic period. 1. agriculture, which is 4000 BCE. Agriculture develops as a new technology, which is how this thing can analyze agri led to complex society. Because if there will be agriculture, there will be surplus. Surplus means somebody has more. Somebody has more, have and have nots. I can have more power over you because I can survive for more days. Domestication of plants. They used to cook pulao. Yes, why not? Sure, yes. Beautiful pulao. Domestication of plants. Then, second, complex society based on social stratification. Stratification means division, develops because of the surplus production and sedentary or settled life. How did they get the seeds? Trial and error. Third, early state formation as there is a need to redistribute surplus and control conflicts. Surplus equals to power equals to control society. Fourth, pottery and storage tools developed along with agri tools for cultivation. Hunting and gathering still persists, but agriculture is going to overtake. Meaning both will come together. Agriculture will later overtake all societies. So 5 points. Anybody any issue? Sedentary life means to be staying at 1+. When there is fight over surplus, if human can kill animal, why cannot human? Yes, but if you will start to kill every human, nobody will be left. So somebody needs to control that conflict. All clear? Third point is early state formation as there is a need to redistribute surplus, control conflicts. Surplus equals to power equals to control society. Tomorrow I'll give you a timeline. I'll tell you how to consolidate this in a better way. First thing, I will discuss that. I hope that first class, 1.5 hours, I discussed a lot of concepts with you. Now you understand how things are going to be. It's not going to be a mundane way of making you write everything. Everything is logical, everything is connected. And I will make you understand it in that way only. So, complex society based on social stratification develops because of surplus production and sedentary settled life. So, I will see you tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock. We will take forward this from Paleolithic to Indus Valley to Chalcolithic, from Neolithic to Chalcolithic to Indus Valley civilization. Tomorrow, Indus Valley, very, very important. I've been a little slow today. I'll pick it up in certain topics, but I'm going slow because it's the learning phase right now. Right? Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Take care. The SMEs are there to answer any of the questions. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow, same time. Don't be late. A lot of you are quite late. 20-25 minutes is too much. 5 to 10 minutes I allow, thereafter not. Okay. See you. Thank you.